Why I believe Amber Heard is the victim.
I posted this TikTok months ago but got hate and deleted it because Johnny Depp fans honestly scare me. Now that more people are realizing what a monster Johnny is after the new evidence got released, I can safely say I believed Amber almost since the start, and I will show you why in this video.
Any shit, just beat the out of me.
It's not happening, you stupid. Acknowledge what I'm saying before you keep making demands. You are not a school teacher. Shut the up. Listen to me, and then you can respond. Understand? You ain't nobody's mom. You ain't no school teacher. Don't pretend to be authoritative with me. You don't exist.
Headbutted you on the forehead. That doesn't break me up. Or a leftover over-the-hill stripper. And that's all you'll ever be.
Well, yes, you do, because you wouldn't have used that as a way to hit me. I was pouring my heart out to you. What do you do? Let me get it. Stab in here. That's what you saw, huh? You listen to me cry, and you're like, now I can get her. Is that what you think? Or you just do it without thinking? You do it without thinking, huh? You don't. Get a stab in when you can. You throw a swing when you can. And what win better than to win them on the floor? Because that's when it's really good to hit someone.
Seeking, a researcher who can make Amber Heard look guilty. At least that's what a job posting on Upwork was looking for. For $8 an hour, candidates were asked to come up with 8 to 10 YouTube titles disparaging Heard. Titles like this one. Or this one. The job posting was looking for new information, celebrity gossip that would make Johnny Depp look good and Amber Heard look bad. Upwork has since removed the post, which included links to YouTube channel Just In, with 268,000 subscribers. The channel posts heavily edited and absurd videos full of anti-Heard and pro-Depp content. It's one of the latest examples of the relentless hate targeting Heard. And it hasn't stopped, even though the multi-million-dollar defamation trial between her and ex-husband Depp is over. In June, a Virginia jury decided that both had defamed each other, although they sided heavily with Depp. The vitriol has been so bad that Twitter analytics tool Bot Sentinel released a report calling it one of the worst cases of platform manipulation and flagrant abuse from a group of Twitter accounts.
Johnny Depp submitted Photoshop photos.
The judge found that Mr. Depp had committed at least 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence. We were deprived of ever bringing in the fact that there was a judgment against Mr. Depp. Evidence that came in the UK but did not come in the US was a lot of consistent text messages and emails. There's a text message from Stephen Duders, his assistant, to Amber, in which he says, "Johnny's awake now. He doesn't remember anything. When I told him he kicked you, he cried." There was emails and text messages throughout, including to her doctor, including to the nurses. Those were all kept out.
The evidence came in that should come in, and the judge was very fair to both sides.
Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, in this case, were the parties. They had different disclosure obligations.
Depp's team wanted to demonize Amber every way they can, and at the same time try to suppress any of the evidence of Mr. Depp's domestic violence. There were therapy notes that go back to 2011, when Amber Heard was first dating Mr. Depp. Detailed notes, 2011, 2012. 2013, 2014, To see that contemporaneous reporting all those years would have been very, very powerful, in my view, to a jury. But none of that came in because the judge determined that those were out-of-court statements.
What about sexual violence? So there was a number of incidents of sexual violence reported in this relationship. Those are documented early on in Dr. Bonnie Jacobs' notes, where when Mr. Depp was drunk or high, he threw her on the bed, ripped off her nightgown, and tried to have sex with her. There were times when he forced her to give him oral sex when he was angry. These weren't in loving moments. These were angry moments, moments of dominance, moments of him trying to get control over her. There was a time when they were in Hicksville in the trailer, I don't want to say trailer park, but I guess there's trailer park. It is a trailer park, where he was accusing her of a woman hitting on Amber, and that was the problem. Amber got accused of women hitting on her, and it got accused of men hitting on her. So there were so many targets that came through in his obsessive jealousy. But when he, on that incident when Kelly Sue was accused of hitting on Miss Heard, and they went back into the trailer, Mr. Depp performed a cavity search and ostensibly was looking for drugs and felt it acceptable to rip off her nightgown and stick his fingers up her vagina to look for cocaine, thought that maybe she was hiding them there. And again, these incidents often happened in a drug-fueled rage. There was another incident in the Bahamas where when he got angry, he took his fingers and he put them in her vagina and moved her around violently in the closet. Again, an act of sexual violence. And of course, the incident in Australia was one of the most severe instances of sexual violence that Miss Heard had to endure, in which when he was beating her and choking her and telling her, I'm going to fucking kill you, I hate you, I'm going to fucking kill you, and he grabbed a bottle that was on the bar and penetrated her with that bottle. And Miss Heard reported to me of dissociating and going outside of her body, and the only thing she was thinking is, oh God, I hope it's not the broken one.
I couldn't get up. And I don't know how that ended. I don't know how. I don't know what happened next. I don't understand this. God, the next thing I remember, I was bent over backwards on the bar, meaning my chest was up. I was staring at the blue lights, and my chest was on this. My back was on the countertops, and I thought he was punching me. I thought he was. I'm sorry. God. He was. I felt this pressure. On my pubic bone. I thought he was punching me. I just saw his arm. I could feel his arm moving, and it looked like he was punching me. But I could just feel this pressure. It was like it kept hitting him. It didn't feel pain. It was just a pressure on my pubic bone, and
Forgive me for asking this, but I need to just make sure the record's clear. You were penetrated up the vagina into the pubic bone, is that correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Sustained.
What, if any, penetration was there in your vagina? Who put the bottle? I'm so sorry.
Do that.
I am so sorry.
Johnny had the bottle inside of me and was shoving it inside of me over and over again.
When the physical abuse was more evident, I was worried. I was worried for her physical safety. I was worried that when he turned, he might accidentally do something that was worse than he ever intended.
I heard like a noise, and then the phone dropped, and he said to her, "Oh, you think I hit you? You think I fucking hit you? What if I peel your fucking hair back?" And then I heard the phone drop again, and then I heard her scream. I remember her screaming.
Grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand and was whacking her repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them. I then hear Johnny's voice shouting, I fucking hate you. I hate you both. You fucking cunts. You fucking whores. And I hear crashing. I hear crashing and banging and smashing, and he starts screaming like an animal.
As I remember, he said, "Open this fucking door, get me in here." And he came in, caught eyes with me right away, and beeline for me, screaming, cursing, spitting in my face. I walked calmly to leave. He stayed and followed with me, walking, pacing, screaming, cursing, spitting in my face, and I left calmly. At that point, Liz was still in the apartment, and the last look I saw of her is that she bolted around the corner and went upstairs to hide from him.
He charged towards me, and I was scared. I ran past him.
You didn't run past him because he told everyone in that penthouse to get out of his penthouse?
I ran past him because he ran into the unit, and it scared the shit out of me because he was wasted and screaming. So that's why I ran out. If there's a grown-ass man coming at you and saying, "Get your bitch out of here," and swaying a Magnum-sized bottle of wine, I'm sure, I don't know what anyone do. I can't say what anyone do, but I ran out.
I remember one time in particular when she was living at the Eastern Columbia that we went downstairs to get a slice of pizza. I think there were 4 of us, and Amber gave a homeless kid down there some money, and we helped him get to the bus stop, and we came back up, and Johnny yelled at her about going out, and that she knew better than to be going out at night and that kind of thing.
What did the bruise that you saw on Amber look like?
I mean, it looked similar to that, but it didn't look like it looked like a grab, not a punch. Like just somebody grabbed her arm.
Somewhere around the time she got the injury, I know she came in person to show me. Somewhere in the period while she still had injuries, she showed me photos, but she also came in and showed me in person.
And what did she show you in person?
Bruising on her face.
Did you ever see any injuries on Miss Heard when she was in Australia?
Yes.
Client told RN about argument with husband. RN offered emotional support, but reminded client that RN could not stay as was on duty with another client and was only visiting in order to deliver medication. She had not had contact with husband since altercation. Client had visible bright red blood appearing at center of lower lip. When RN made client aware that she was actively bleeding on her lip, client stated it was from injury sustained in the, and then it's blank. You see that? And then we can keep going down in the argument between her and her husband, and that it continues to bleed actively. You wrote that?
Yes.
And then you also wrote clients also states that her head is bruised and that she lost clumps of hair. And
Just did makeup, but just a little heavier where needed. So we covered, you know, the discoloration, the bruises with a little slightly heavier concealer. One that has a little more of a peach undertone, which I would normally don't use on Amber, but peach do cancel blue. So I did that under the eyes, and although Amber always, you know, has a red lip, is one of the signature look, I remember clearly talking that we had no other option that night, but then to use a red blood, like a really red lipstick to, you know, make sure we could cover up the injuries on the lip.
Chopped off my left finger as a reminder that I should never cut off my finger again.
I cut the top of my middle finger off. What should I do? Except, of course, go to a hospital. I'm so embarrassed for jumping into anything with her. world.
I'm talking about Australia, the day that
Now we're talking about Australia.
Are you sure that's
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
what
You
I'm
actually
saying?
don't.
Or is it the day that I got my finger chopped off?
No, you say the day that I chopped my finger off.
Now we're talking about Australia.
Ceremony, as you were walking to the reception, what, if anything, did Johnny Depp say to you about Amber?
As we were walking back from the ceremony, and he said, we're married, now I can punch her in the face and nobody can do anything about it.
Sometimes when you're being abused, you fight back in ways that aren't okay. As outsiders, we have no idea and will never know the extent of someone else's relationship trauma, which is why I think it's so upsetting to me to see people taking pretty universally Johnny Depp's side in this case, despite the fact that a court of law in England found Heard to be credible and found that there was substantial evidence to believe that Depp had abused her, despite the fact that recordings and text messages, evidence being used in court, show him verbally abusing her or saying horrific things to his friends about her. He's openly admitted to painting threatening messages on their walls in his own blood. Court testimony showed that he texted his friend and said he wanted to kill her and fuck her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead. And y'all are defending him? Depp and Heard met in 2009 when Depp was 45 and Heard was 23. She'd been acting for about 5 years, and he was 25 years into his career, and one of the most acclaimed actors in the world, as well as being exceptionally wealthy. Again, I am not taking sides here, I'm just trying to even out the bias I'm seeing all around me by pointing out the very real fact that we don't know who had the upper hand in terms of the power dynamics of the relationship, but it's not like Heard came in with an advantage. And the fact is that based on what's coming out in court, as well as the court in the UK, which again found that Johnny Depp likely abused Amber Heard, both sides did awful things. And yet the court of public opinion has decided Johnny Depp is the victim here, and anyone who isn't 100% team Johnny Depp is taking down the entire Me Too movement by denying that men can be victims of abuse and allowing Heard to get away with making false accusations and hurting real abuse victims everywhere. It's the buffoonery for me. It's the complete lack of nuance in the public's understanding of, I don't know, human nature, how relationships work. And all the while, these people claim to be feminists, saying that it's the woman who's setting women's rights back and making everyone look bad. My friends, this is the patriarchy at work. Society is quicker to say a woman is a liar and a man is the victim than they are to believe women as a general rule. And while saying she's the liar who's hurting women and victims everywhere, they also lob every weapon the patriarchy has ever used to keep women down at her. Heard's being called a whore, a gold digger, a crazy bitch, manipulative, a monster, a Karen, bipolar. And don't even get me started about the history of using mental illness to control women. Memes claiming to show her doing cocaine while testifying on the stand. TikTok saying Depp should have killed her. And if this is what's being posted publicly on social media, I cannot imagine the level of hatred and death threats she's receiving personally. This is why people don't report abuse. Intentionally false accusations of relationship violence are exceedingly rare. Because why in the hell would you open up this level of scrutiny against yourself, your life, your choices, and how you responded to or didn't respond to the abuse as it was happening? Because if you're not a perfect victim, especially if you're a woman, because let's be honest, if the gender roles were reversed in this case, Heard may be canceled, but the level of hatred would not be this intense. And the male version of Heard in this hypothetical scenario would probably go on to win an Oscar next year. So if you're not the perfect victim because you did something wrong, you fought back, you're an imperfect person, then the world will lob every available insult at you to get you to shut up. Because as a social group, humans are fucking idiots. Incapable of detecting nuance or understanding that there's a lot that can't be known or found out by doing independent true crime internet sleuthing and thinking you're fucking Sherlock Holmes. And here's what this means for victims of abuse. Fewer victims will come forward, especially if they haven't been perfect during the course of their relationship with the abuser. Abusers will feel emboldened to launch defamation lawsuits against the victim because high-profile cases and the related media frenzy paint the picture that false accusations are common and have to be rooted out at all costs. Any abuser with the means to do so can use the threat of a defamation lawsuit to further control their victims. And they can go through with the defamation lawsuit, which then makes their relationship drag on for years, even after they separate, and can ruin the victim's reputation and cost the victim tens of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees.
Let's burn Amber. 3 exclamation points, right? You see that?
I do see that.
And at this time, June 11, 2013, Amber's your girlfriend or perhaps even your fiance at this point, correct?
Girlfriend,
Yeah,
for sure.
And you didn't stop when you said, let's burn Amber. Because the next text down, you can move down and blow up the next text, please, Michelle. You say, let's drown her before we burn her. 3 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
Yes, it's referring to the text prior to.
You didn't
from Mr.
stop when you
Bettany.
said, let's drown her before we burn her. After that, you made another comment. I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead. That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her. Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes.
And you wrote that about the woman who would later become your wife.
Yes, I did.
Okay. On January 17th, 2013, Mr. Depp, you texted the following. For the idiot cow, 3 exclamation points. Next text. Will do. I'll smack the ugly around before I let her in. Don't worry. And apologies again to the court and the jury for this language. And then you close by saying, did that worthless hooker arrive? Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
You said, I'm all right. Though I never, ever want to lay eyes on that filthy whore, Amber A., most embarrassing. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
And when you called Amber that filthy whore, she was your wife at the time, correct?
Yes, sir.
You tell Mr. Baruch on October 18th, 2016, hopefully that rotting corpse is decomposing in the trunk of a Honda Civic, 2 exclamation points.
You Depp stans are displaying some serious delusion. What I was pointing out was that woman was showing how she had terrible bruising and it was able to be covered up by makeup. And y'all are all saying crazy, horrendous things about how this couldn't have been covered up like this. Amber has obvious bruising around her nose and in other various areas like here, but this, you can kind of see it right there, but the angle's not like great to show a bruise up here. And she had a busted lip, okay? In the video I posted, my last video, that woman had visible, insane black and blue bruising that was completely covered up by the next day with makeup. I don't understand how you don't understand that this can go from this to this the next day. Also, her lip is massive. Her bottom lip is obviously swollen. You are so obviously, A, delusional, B, blatantly ignoring this, or C, lying to yourself if you say you don't see her swollen lip. Like, are you serious right now? Look at her bottom lip. It's so big and it's obvious it's like centered around this little area. The right side of her bottom lip, you can see it in both pictures. It's like so big, it's like so plump. If you want to argue, we can argue, we can go in circles, we can do whatever you want. There's so many people in my comments right now just like being a hater and saying ridiculous things that like because I'm young, I don't know what I'm talking about, or because I've quote never been abused, I don't know what I'm saying. But I don't think you need like certain qualifications to point out that her lip is extremely swollen in this and that makeup can cover up bruising. Arguing with that is just like embarrassing because you're blatantly ignoring a simple fact.
Go put your fucking cigarettes out on someone else. You fucking have consequences for your actions. That's it.
Shut up, fat ass.
Yeah, you got me there.
Can you play that one more time, please, Michelle?
Objection, Your Honor. I'll sustain the objection. Move on.
Mr. Depp, when Ms. Heard tells you in that recording to go put your cigarettes out on someone else, you don't deny that, but instead you simply say, shut up, fat ass. Is that correct?
I think that was another
grossly exaggerated moment of Miss Heard's. I did not put a cigarette out on her or throw a cigarette at her.
Let's pull up.
What, if any, changes did you observe in Amber over the period of her relationship with Johnny?
At first, Amber was Amber. She was loud, fun, funny. She laughed a lot. She was just this happy, bright, fun-loving thing, always surrounded by friends. And then it was a progression that took over such a long period of time, and it was so slow. In hindsight, it was like watching a slow motion gunshot. She suddenly stopped sleeping as much. She wasn't as funny. She wasn't as loud. She wasn't as gregarious as she used to be. Cut to the end of their relationship, she was so physically unwell. She maybe weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. She was emaciated. She wasn't sleeping. She had developed a heart condition and her eyes were sunken in. She just looked like two different.
Lack of foundation calls for hearsay.
She's giving her observations.
Well, heart condition. I'll sustain as to heart condition.
Okay, other than the heart condition, please continue.
She just, if you were to do a photograph side by side, you would see two very different people. And people that knew her throughout the entirety of their relationships, all the same thing.
So in 2014, Amber and Johnny, amongst other people, took a private plane from Boston to LA. And Amber claims that he was very drunk and very high and he got aggressive. She claims that among being verbally assaulted, she was physically assaulted when Johnny kicked her in the back and she fell to the floor. Now, there was some evidence about this incident that was in the UK trial, but not in the US trial, so let's get into all that. Okay, so this is part one of the text between Johnny's assistant, Steven, who was on the plane with them, and Amber. A little more context, after this happened, Amber was like, I'm going to New York by myself, I cannot be around him, and that comes up in the conversation. So one thing that I think is really important from this part of the text is up here, Steven is saying they're taking care of him because he was very drunk and very high, so he's sick. And he says he's up, much better, clearer. He doesn't remember much, but we took him through all that happened. He's sorry, very sorry, and just wants to be better. Amber says to Steven, I can't keep doing this. And a little bit farther down, she says, I don't know how to be around him after what he did to me yesterday. I don't know if I can stay with him. I need time. At this point, Steven keeps repeating, he's sorry, he's going to text you, he wants to do better, we're at a critical juncture, and then... So Amber continues to defend herself to Steven, saying he thinks he doesn't deserve this. Obviously, he has no idea what he did to me or to the extent that he did it. Unfortunately for me, I remember everything that happened in full detail. Then Steven says, it was disgusting and he knows it. He was appalled. When I told him he kicked you, he cried. Do I need to say anything else? Like, what? At this point, Steven's admitted that Johnny doesn't remember much, admitted that he told Johnny what happened, which was that he kicked her. And then Amber says, he's done this many times before. Tokyo, the island, remember, all that, I always stay, always believe he's going to get better. And then every 3 months or so, I'm in the exact same position. Steven replies and says, I know, it's hideous. On top of that, this is the text that Johnny sends Amber about that situation, saying, I find myself in a place of shame and regret. I'm sorry. I really don't know why or what happened, but I'll never do it again, blah, blah, blah. You can keep reading it. So we have Johnny admitting himself that he doesn't know what happened. His assistant who was there admitting he doesn't know what happened. His assistant admitting he assaulted her, and yet we still don't believe her. Another thing is the text with Steven didn't come to the US trial because he did not testify in order to keep those hidden.
This text message she says she sent to her father after that disputed incident on the plane. She wrote, he kicked me in front of everyone.
I testified I was attacked on that flight and I was attacked in front of people. And when I got off the plane, sent messages to people about what had happened. I'm angry because this happened. Can you believe he did this and this and this, you know? And one of the people I reached out to was my father.
Okay, these are more audio clips where Amber brings up times that Johnny was violent and he doesn't say anything to argue with her claims.
In my bedroom after I had dumped you week prior. A week prior, after you beat the shit out of me, and then a week later you show up at my doorstep in my room saying you want to say goodbye. Okay, say goodbye.
Oh, I said it.
Yes, you did say it. Because you wouldn't have used that as a way to hit me. I was pouring my heart out to you. What do you do? Let me get it. Let me get it. Stab in here. That's what you saw, huh? You listen and you cry. And you're like, now you do. Is that what you think? You just do it without thinking. You do it without thinking, huh? You don't. Get him. Stab him when you can. You throw a swing when you can. And what win better than to win on the floor? Because that's when it's really good to hit someone.
I just think it is so incredibly telling that Amber is saying these things to Johnny, and not once does he refute or argue with what she's saying. You know, in what world, if he truly never laid a hand on her, in what world would he let her say these things and he just lets it slide if he's never been abusive?
Respect to Mr. Depp with respect to Amber's health.
Sure. All of a sudden, for really unclear reasons, Amber had her own personal nurse just administering medication, and from what I saw, it was strange. I didn't think Amber needed, medication on the daily or whatever. And then all of a sudden, she has a therapist that is employed by Dr. Kipper. Even her medical treatment was somehow controlled by or paid for by Johnny.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation with respect to the control. Was to control, but paid for. I'll allow. Go ahead.
Somehow, Johnny complains about Amber's therapist, makes disparaging comments about her body and the therapist's intentions with her body, asserts his power by reminding everyone he has all the money in their relationship, and threatening to have this therapist removed from the business all in one breath.
Wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which made me realize the time I blew on that 50-cent stripper. I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me face to face. I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it off. Did I read that right?
You did.
Okay, text between Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson, not for the faint of heart. Marilyn starts off by saying, I got an Amber 2.0. Johnny says he's going to go to jail because he's crossing the border of US and Canada. Okay, for this next text, keep in mind that people that have worked with Marilyn Manson on tour says he literally picks out girls from the crowd who are very young, brings them backstage after the show to drug and rape them. Marilyn says to Johnny, my new fan meet and greet girl. Looks like you need it. Trust me. I'll send a pic. 18. Johnny says, I miss you. We shall exchange bodily fluids. Then talking about the Amber 2.0 text, saying, don't take no shit. Most important is to stay calm, not give her what she wants, which is to make you scream, flip out, and feed her narcissism. Trust me, I've been reading a lot of material on that and sociopathic behavior. It's fucking real, my brother. My ex-cunt was goddamn textbook. Blah, blah, blah. Marilyn says, I'm coming to the fuck pad tonight. Tight pants. There's a lot of references about them not being gay. He says, I'm gonna hobo spank you, but I'm okay, can't sleep, just wanted to hear from my not gay boy. He says, Lindsay pulled an Amber and filed a police report. You can read it. So then they're talking about meeting up tonight because Marilyn needs to get away from Amber 2.0. Johnny wants to save him. Says she's filing a restraining order, all that. Okay, Johnny says, let's dine and quench our thirst tonight, my brother. It's in my opinion that we need a cave of some sort. I'm thinking Sade style. This refers to the person that invented sadism. Okay, I zoomed in on this one. Marilyn says, I'll text you tomorrow. Let's have our own Salo. Do you guys know what Salo is in reference to? It was a movie in which a group of fascists round up 9 adolescent boys and girls and subject them to 120 days of physical, mental, and sexual torture. He continues to say, but no gay stuff with us. Just get the guy in front of the Chinese theater and someone from any goth band and buy them as slaves and make them recreate our formative years in an opera. And we shall tussle the young lassies. Double dots, girls, get here on Thursday. I can't even read this. You can finish reading this. And you can pause to read these last 2 pages of text. So just keep in mind these texts were in unsealed documents that Johnny Depp's fans paid literally, I think $3,000 to unseal. And there's a reason they wanted these hidden. I mean, references to buying underage girls, Salo, sadism. Not a good look for Johnny. Also, just associating with Marilyn Manson in general is not a great thing. So yeah, there you have it.
Welcome back to Is She a Villain or Do We Just Hate Women? Amber Heard edition. Now the fans will say there was no history of violence, and they're wrong. Ellen Barkin was Johnny Depp's ex-girlfriend, and part of her deposition was shown at trial where she said Johnny Depp was jealous and controlling and threw a wine bottle across the room. There was a lot to the story that was not shown, like that allegation up there that I can't read out loud. Also said that there was always an air of violence around him. He's a yeller. He is verbally abusive, and those things you can see. She also said that he would yell at his assistant, that people who would work on the film that were below him, they were just in his world of violence. So if you were in Johnny Depp's stain and were making fun of Amber Heard, it's time to repent.
I did not call the cops, and I did not give them any statement when they came. I've been trying to protect you.
You told Io to call cops.
When? While it was happening?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, because the last time that it got crazy between us, I really did think I was going to lose my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my God, I thought the first time.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on.
So when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also, that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me after you threw a phone in my face, and it got crazy in the past, and I truly thought, I need to stop this madness before I get hurt.
Oh my God.
And I never think about myself that way. I never defend myself that way. I never see myself as a victim. It's to a fault, you know?
All right, yeah.
And I when they came, I did not cooperate with them. It has been used against me, not by the media, by your side.
Having screaming is like offensive thing. You can throw a punch, yeah, screaming is okay. You can headbutt somebody screaming, but don't scream. Huh. Couldn't believe you did that.
I did not start screaming until you had said all the shit. You poke an animal enough, it is eventually, doesn't matter how friendly it is
That's
or how
not
cool.
true. Well,
I
it's
stayed
the same
for
for
so
me.
long,
It's the same for
and
me,
you kicked
kid.
and kicked and kicked. So I have not done this to you. I have not said these things to you. I have not started the fight by saying I'm going to get in another room. And I'm not going to sit here and fight about f***ing Toronto anymore.
We're having an argument and you get mad.
An argument's an argument.
Yes, but say we're having an argument and you get mad. It escalates. How do you talk to the you that's in front of me right now? What do I need to say? What do I need to do? We don't want to spend our life mad like that. Doesn't mean you have to like what I'm saying or doing or vice versa, but
Can't you just
calm
say,
down?
baby, please don't get along to like monster. Please don't, let's not yell. Please don't yell.
That sounds very good and I agree. But what about the... What are
In the moment.
What are we going to do different in the moment when you're mad and you go, fuck it,
In the moment.
decide all bets are off?
In the moment. Look what I did in Australia. Look what I accomplished. I put the fucker away. I told myself every fucking day, no, he's gone. No, I fucking put him away. I put him away. And by a list of the things that I feel that fuck you over or make you feel shitty or anything like that, when we're in the moment, I remember it. I remember what I put on my list. I remember it. And I try to please, I don't want you to feel this. I don't want to feel this. That's
I need to know what we need to do different.
It's been so, when you get on that train, you get angry, you stay on it for so long, and you won't come down, you won't talk to the person
That's
that
not.
was you.
That's not always. That's not always.
It doesn't
baby.
have to always be the monster, but what is it? Can you put that away? Can you remember the bigger picture? You don't want to spend your life. I've asked you this so many times in fights. You want to spend your time like this. No, you don't. But I ask you because this is something you're choosing. I'm saying to you, olive branch. And you don't take my olive branches. You made me feel humiliated for offering them. Please. It comes up a lot. I know you have an issue with it. It's not me. You can trust me. If anything...
Say that to me. Say that to me at the time.
What? Say what?
What you just said. Say that stuff to me at the time. If I'm starting to flip, you know, you're off doing a movie, or I'm off doing a movie, or whatever.
I feel like I do, but I guess I should say it differently. I'll find another way. I'll pay attention to how I say it.
Depends, yeah.
Something so anxiety-provoking and scary and malicious and really just turns everything over when you split all the time. Please. If you really don't want to fight and you're not just trying to hurt me, which sometimes it is that, if you really, really, if you really love me and you do care about this, please find a good way to do it, one that's respectful. You can tell me that you are. I need to know that we will be able to talk about it, because the problem I have is when you don't communicate. It comes into me, builds up in me, and becomes cancer in me. It got worse every day when we were back from Toronto. It got worse every single day. Not better, worse. I seem to have way more control over it. It's so fucking edgy, and you get so mad so fast, and you stay mad. I've seen this happen before, and I've also seen you better. I've seen you clearer. I've seen you better. I've seen you do better, and you don't let me down. And I subsequently will do better and let you down less. But I'm not changing how I do things. You're changing how you do things. This is dramatic change. And it's been a few months now, and I'm begging you. Now is the time. If you choose to stop it, fucking great. I will be with you to change. But I can't set myself up to be the only one to keep promises and then wind up in another situation like Toronto, where you're booking a room or trying to get me on a flight, or I'm not saying any of the things, and I'm hearing all this shit, and I'm not defending myself, and I'm coming to you saying I love you, and I'm trying to protect you from yourself, and I get destroyed. I can't do it again. I won't ever survive through that again. And I don't want to. You made me unhappy.
I don't want to. I don't want you to.
I never attacked you. I never attack you. Just because I have a complaint with something you did is not an attack.
It becomes
baby.
verbally insulting. It becomes all kinds of... It becomes like right at the get-go, yeah.
See, that's the problem. If you see any criticism as a verbal assault, of course we have this problem. We're going to have it next time you do. God forbid I have a problem with something you do. We're going to be in this situation.
Say it
Are you
nice.
ready for it?
Say it nice, man.
What if I'm hurt? Am I not allowed to be hurt and be human? That's the thing. You're not allowing me to be human then. You take my humanity
You're
from me.
talking
You're
about...
telling me I'm not allowed to feel
You're
things,
talking...
and I'm not allowed to react because to protect you.
Have I ever been able to knock you off of your feet?
You started these things.
Are you ever going to get up on the stand, Johnny, and say she started it? Really? I have never been able to overpower you. That's the difference between me and you.
Why did you try?
And that's the difference that the whole world and the jury and the judge see, is that there is a very big difference between me and you. And all of the people that have come out and lied on your behalf, that I can prove as lies, whether it be a text messages that can be authenticated by third-party forensic, electronic forensic experts, or if it's audio, if it's photos. There's so much evidence. It blows. There is no reason. There is no reason that all this had to come out with every step of the way. I mean, here, I didn't say anything about security not doing their job or doing their job, and they came out with it. That was a proactive, not understand that. There's a proactive step. I had to respond. I've been called a liar.
Baby.
And I've been called
Baby.
a gold digger.
Baby.
Everyone is.
Baby. Amber, I didn't call you those things. I didn't call you those things.
It is all from your side, and if you don't believe me, then why are we talking? It's so pointless to even talk like we trust or love or respect each other at all if you don't believe me what I'm saying. And you know it, and I know you respect you too much to pretend for a second that you don't know these facts.
Oh. I didn't agree that this gentleman, it was a famous musician, over the age of 18, spent the night at the house, and I felt protective over Lily Rose and concerned. And naturally, they were not my children. It's not my place, and I understand that. I know it's a sensitive subject, so I understand why Johnny got so upset with me. But that and the introduction of the weed with his daughter, she was so young, I just felt protective. Again, it's not my place. I understand that. And I made him really angry by weighing in on that.
He had me screaming. It's like somehow the end all be all is a sort of offensive thing. You can throw a punch, screaming is okay. You can headbutt somebody screaming, but don't scream. Huh?
Headbutted you on the
Couldn't believe you did that.
forehead. That doesn't break a nose.
Well, I think he's a better actor than Amber Heard. That's what I think. I feel today the exact same feelings I felt at the very end of the O.J. Simpson trial, when I was placed at a domestic violence hotline to monitor the calls coming in from terrified women who said, my husband said he's going to O.J. me now. I feel that this is the greatest misunderstanding of the jury, who got swept up in fan culture. This is not the Super Bowl, folks. Also, this wasn't a domestic violence trial. This wasn't a divorce trial. This was a defamation trial. And the jury forgot to listen to the instructions from the judge. All you had to prove was that at one time, she was a victim of domestic violence. It could have even been emotional abuse. I mean, there's audio of him saying, or text of him saying, I would beep, beep, beep her dead, burnt corpse to make sure she's dead. That alone is abuse. This woman and he were in a traumatic bond. Their therapist admitted that they abused each other. You only need one incident from his side to prove that she wasn't lying. But yet, everybody got swept up in the fan culture. Apparently, TikTok is weighing in on trials these days. Look, I have 1 million followers on TikTok, and in a minute, I'm going to go live, and I will give people a piece of my mind. This is a downfall for women in America.
Okay, this is going to be a really short video, but if I actually see someone say or comment Amber Turd one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. So here is a text showing you all the reasons you need to know about why Amber did not poop in the bed. In his cross-examination, Mr. Depp accepted that his sense of humor was niche. It also had a lavatorial streak. On October 11th, 2013, he sent the following text to Stephen Deuters, which said, "Will you squat in front of the door of the master bedroom and leave a giant coil of dookie so that Amber steps in it and thinks that one of the dogs, primarily Boo, has a major problem? It'll be funny." So here we have Johnny acknowledging that their dog Boo has a major problem with pooping in places where he shouldn't, which is what Amber has said all along. Secondly, here is Johnny making potty jokes and saying to his assistant to poop in front of the door so Amber will step in it. So why are we all of a sudden thinking that Amber, at the time a 30-year-old woman, is pooping in the bed that she also sleeps in? What? Additionally, this is from the UK judgment, and at the very bottom you can see Amber texted one of their housekeepers in 2014 saying, "Last night Boo shit on Johnny while he was sleeping, like all over him, not exaggerating." So obviously their dog Boo has a problem with pooping in the bed. I really I really just don't believe that Amber pooped in the bed. I don't. Between Johnny being the one talking about pranking Amber with poop and this, I don't see how she did this.
And in this text, Mr. Depp, you said, she's begging for total global humiliation. She's gonna get it. I'm gonna need your texts about San Francisco, brother. I'm even sorry to ask, but she sucked Mollusk's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers. I have no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion, or what I once thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime-a-dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused, flappy fish market. I'm so fucking happy she wants to go to fight this out. She will hit the wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which made me realize the time I blew on that 50-cent stripper. I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me face to face. I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it off. Did I read that right?
You did.
Johnny, everyone thinks he's shy, okay? If people knew what he was really like, his career would be over.
What happened?
Johnny is now being sued by a crew member who worked on Johnny's upcoming movie City of Lies.
So Greg Brooks worked as a location scout on the film, and he claims that shooting one scene, Johnny became irate and punched him twice in the lower left side of his rib cage.
Yeah, if anybody gives you any shit, just beat the fuck out of them.
The High Court judge ruled that the newspaper's claim in 2018 that he'd assaulted his ex-wife, Amber Heard, was substantially true.
A man who assaulted his wife on more than 14 occasions, who left her fearing for her life. Amber Heard had photographs. She also had video.
We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning?
Depp was arrested in New York City on charges of criminal mischief after allegedly trashing his hotel room in the presence of girlfriend model Kate Moss.
Johnny, do you know what happened? Did you say what happened?
The stuff about busting up hotel rooms and beating guys.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Do you still do that, or did that ever happen? Do you beat up people or not?
Well, it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I guess.
If somebody needs a beating, you're there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a couple of incidents, where
but now,
guys were begging for it.
For example, the hotels. Was there truth that you just ruined a hotel?
Yeah, I brutalized the hotel room. I made a gaggle of paparazzi walk backwards down a London street with a plank of wood in my hand.
You took after him like a 2x4 and backed him off down an alley.
Yeah, it was more like a 4x4.
What were you charged with, for the love of God?
Assault, attempted assault, assault. If they did that, I'd just fly to Australia and assault that man.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
You want to see crazy? I'll give you fucking crazy. That's crazy. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy.
Have you drunk this whole thing this morning?
Oh, you got this going? You got this going? Oh, really? Roman Polanski is not a predator. I mean, he's 75 years old, or 76. He's got 2 beautiful kids. He's got a wife that he's been with for a long, long time. He's not out in the street, doing horrible things, so.
Is this relevant? Okay, so let's see. I mean, if you are ready for a really, really long...
So you came to the conclusion that day that she actually wasn't upset. Is that what you're saying?
It's too much. I mean, I already answered once.
What I'm asking is, did you come to the conclusion that there was nothing wrong with Miss Heard that day and that she wasn't actually upset?
I don't know how to answer. I mean, it's such a strange question. Like they said, you already asked me and I already answered.
If you still support Johnny Depp after this video, then you're nothing but a delusional fangirl, or you just hate women.